Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we have a little more details on what Celebrity Cruise Line is planning for their river cruises. This is how we cruise on the river. And we have some more details on what their offerings are going to be. The Oasis of the Seas had a little bit of an issue leaving port on Saturday, but it's not as bad as people thought it was going to be. We also have a warning for people arriving in Athens on your Mediterranean cruise, either getting on or off the ship later this week, from Wednesday to Saturday. You could be in for some issues because there's going to be a taxi strike. And not only taxis, but others are getting involved as well. Then let's talk about Perfect Day Mexico, and we have a few informations on some of the different areas and what they're going for when they open up that private destination. So I'll have to admit, a lot of people were pretty excited when Celebrity announced that they were going to jump into the river cruise market, because Celebrity has, they kind of broke classic designs with the Edge class ship, with the magic carpet going up and down the side and some of the use of space on board. They're really influenced for their ocean cruises, and people are hoping they bring some of that style and innovation to the river cruise scene. Well, and apparently in 2026, they'll be launching with, I think, just 2 ships. And those will be on the Rhine and the Danube. Those are the main, largest rivers, of course, in Europe. Those are probably going to be places like Vienna and Paris and Budapest, and probably into the Netherlands, Amsterdam. So what are they going to do different? Well, right away they're talking about bringing some of the ocean experience to the cruise ships, with more things to do on board. So for instance, one of the things they're talking about bringing onto the first few ships is movies under the stars, where you'll be up on the open deck to watch a movie in the evening. This is something that's on a lot of cruise ships, right? It's on Princess, it's on Royal, it's on Carnival. They have this a lot of the times, but you don't hear of it on river cruises. The odd river cruise has a movie theater set up in one of the bars or something like a little room at the back, but nothing set up on the top deck, which is curious to see if they're going how this would work. They're also talking about bringing more larger entertainment. Although space is limited on a river cruise, they want larger entertainment on the ships, like bringing in an unofficial Irish band if you're for an Irish night, or bringing on a magician on board for an entertainment night. Things like this, along with a lot of guest speakers and a lot of guests, like maybe a photo expert on board, teaching you how to take expert photos with your phones. Things along those lines. Plus, they say their staterooms will be absolutely state-of-the-art. I'm very curious to see an actual ship design when this finally comes out, but looking forward to seeing this. And again, the first ships come out 2026, then 4 more in 2027, and then 4 more again in 2028. So we'll have to wait a little bit more. They're not on sale yet, but I'm very curious to see when they are. Next, let's talk about the Oasis of the Seas. And well, she had a delay. You were supposed to set sail at 4, and at 9 p.m. they were still in port, and that led to speculation that there was mechanical issues. Oh no, we have engine problems. What's going on? It's not engine problems. They were repairing a scrubber on board. One of the things that keeps the less pollutants get caught in the smokestack when it's sending out when the engines are going, and they were repairing a scrubber on board. They didn't want to set sail with it malfunctioning, which is good. That's good for the environment. That's good for everybody's health. And they got it fixed, and it did set sail. It should not affect the itinerary at all. And luckily, the first stop was the private island. It's only 5 hours by boat away by ship. So it had no problem making it there by 7 a.m. the next morning and keeping on its regular schedule. So no engine problems on the Oasis. It was a scrubber issue, so no concerns there. Next, if you're flying into Athens or flying out of Athens starting Wednesday, and I would say till Saturday, you're going to have a hard time getting a taxi. Taxis are going on a walkout, a strike. You will not be able to get a taxi. They're kind of up in arms over Uber being allowed to operate at the airport, plus other issues, and the tourism minister and the finance minister is not willing to talk with the taxi unions, or they're going out. They're walking out on this strike. Not only is that affecting you getting a taxi just from the airport or from the cruise ship, it's also affecting private transfers, as many of them have said that they're not going to cross the picket lines, which means that a lot of people who had booked like a private car and that for transport, they've been canceled as well. So just as a heads up, in Athens right now, they're having some issues, and keep an eye on it, because this could be coming, stretch out over the summer months as the cruise season kicks into high gear. The taxis want to have more and more leverage, and this is the travel time. So the more they disrupt things during the summer, the more leverage they have to get a better deal with the government. So keep an eye on that if you're going into Athens anytime this year. And finally, let's talk about Royal Caribbean and their Perfect Day at Mexico. It's going to be a lot like Perfect Day at Coco Cay. It's going to be divided up into, I believe, 7 or 8 neighborhoods, each with their own theme. It's going to be a heavily, heavily Mexican theme. They're going to have the world's largest sombrero over top of, it might even be bigger than my sombrero up there, over top of the bar. One of the bars there by the pools. It's going to have a lazy river, one of the longest lazy rivers there is. It says it's going to take you over an hour to get across this lazy river in one turn around. Not only that, there is an optional area that you can go that will be like a little bit faster. It'll have a little bit of rapids. It'll have splash zones. It'll have twists and turns, unlike the other, which will be calmer for like your small children and things. So that sounds kind of cool that they're going to be doing that. Not to mention all the typical stuff you're going to have there, the different eateries, the private cabanas, etc. You're definitely going to have the swim-up bars and tons of pools. The other thing is, of course, the water park, the thrill park, as they say, that's there in Perfect Day. Well, they're gonna one-up it in Mexico. They're saying that they're going to have about 30 water slides all set up in there. Not only that, some of them will be the largest water slides in North America, they're saying. Anywhere in South America and North America, up to 170 feet tall. So kids and thrill seekers and everything will definitely have a lot to do at Perfect Day Mexico. 107. I don't want to have to walk up to that 170-foot slide. Not at my age. Maybe the smaller ones will be. That lazy river sounds just up my speed limit right now. Well, let me know in the comments down below. Are you excited? Does that new news from Celebrity about movies under the stars, maybe broader entertainment on board, does that make you want to take a Celebrity river cruise over the other cruise lines right now? And will that, if that becomes hugely popular, will that force the other river cruise companies to make changes as well? I would be all in on more on river cruises. I mean, absolutely. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.